This range goes by a lot of names, the most common of which was coined by Leo Kim Video. Check out Thomas's. Now, I actually recall these from my youth. I remember seeing them in Coles supermarkets, taunting you with the checkout. Now, I have been collecting this range since... fucking never. Not once have I ever had any remote interest in this range. So naturally, I have the full collection. I didn't even realize this. I went to make the video, went, I wonder how much of the collection I had. Looked it up on the wiki and went, I have the full collection. Well, I guess I'm making a video on it. Now, we don't know a ton about these. We know they're derived from the take-along models, but are weirdly proportioned, and you'll see that in a minute. If you're not at all familiar with this range, welcome to hell, because these things are terrible products. They are made of this weird sort of plasticky material that's just... it doesn't feel cheap. It just looks cheap. It's kind of a weird contradictory thing. They all run on the same basic chassis, and as you'll see, some are definitely better than others. Let's start with Thomas. This is not my best example of a Thomas. I have about, like, fucking 10 of these. But it was the first one I picked up. And you know what? It kind of demonstrates just the poor quality of these. The paintwork just doesn't really hold up, and they all seem to be abused to shit. So he can go up the back. Now, let's do a jump cut. See, God, am I good at that. And also, say hello to the wires. That shows how much effort I'm putting into this video. These are the other variants of Thomas, and I was frankly surprised that I had them all. In fact, I only have one copy of both of these, so this was actually very lucky that I had all. These are called Christmas Thomas, Toffee Thomas, although honestly, I thought that was bamboo. I mean, just look at it. And tell me it doesn't look like it's an Oriental Thomas. Mud Thomas. May as well call him Shit Stain. Birthday Thomas, because who wouldn't love to receive one of these on their birthday? And Paint Splatter Thomas. Honestly, the best out of the lot. I should also mention the Christmas Thomas. Honestly, I thought this was Cobweb Thomas. Or just... shall I say the egregious word? You all know what I'm thinking, right? Yeah. Yeah. We can table that one. It's whipped cream. God, this video's gone off the rail. Hey, what is he looking at? I don't know, man. I don't think he's very happy to be next to Shit Stain Thomas. Anyway, I guess we'll move down the list character by character. Here's Edward. Small, small, small. Teeny. Weeny. Weeny. Yeah, I can't explain why Edward is so damn small. It's rather odd. The same problem befalls James, but we'll get to him later. The best way to actually show this is to compare Edward to Henry. Because you see, this is Henry. Now, they kind of threw proportions out the window for these guys. Some brands, to be honest, make it work. Check out Thomas is not one of those brands. Henry is actually not a terrible design, although obviously no tender. I mean, Edward at least gets a coal bunker. Why the fuck does he have a coal bunker? Anyway, both Edward, Henry, and the next character, that is Gordon. Sorry, Henry. All only received one version, just your standard release. You know, these were released apparently in a couple of places in Europe as well. Were these really that good? Gordon's probably one of the derpiest looking ones out of the lot. Both because this is not a very good version, not copy, like, I should say, not a very good sort of quality finish on him. If you can call these a quality finish, I'm looking at you. But, I mean, I doubt they were ever that good to begin with. Which brings us along to James. What the fuck did you do to the... This is what I mean. Compared to Thomas, Gordon and Henry look fine. So what the fuck happened to Edward? James actually would get another version, though, in the form of the Buzz variant. Because in the mid-2000s, every James had a Buzz variant. Or a Busy as a Bee variant. James and the Bees was like one episode, and they just blew it completely out of proportion. Oh, by the way, these bees look, they look bee. They actually look fairly good. And this is actually probably one of the better releases. Sorry about the dust. These literally sit in the bottom of a box. This is actually a very good quality finish on this, James. Mine is the dirt. This is actually probably one of the best ones you could get. Yeah. They weren't brilliant. I'm trying to hammer that home to you, because some people might go, I kind of want to collect this range. And honestly, it's not a terrible range. It's just, you're going to get your first one, especially if you're in the US, and you're going to be mildly disappointed. Speaking of mild disappointment, Percy and the shit stain, well, it makes a reappearance. See, what I don't quite get though is that if we go to the Thomas out the back, he clearly looks disgusting, but somehow they managed to get the chocolate look actually fairly decent on this guy. It doesn't look like shit, and that's an achievement for this range. You also have Percy, the standard version that is. Percy's one of the better ones, but what is with the faces in this range? James is probably the worst in that regard. Sorry for the jump scare. Like, what am I even looking at? This doesn't really look that much like James. Honestly, if you want to say the best face, it probably would go to Henry, or the next character on our list, Spencer. Honestly, Spencer definitely is, I'll zoom out, one of the better characters. The proportions just kind of look right, you know? He's not perfect, and that wheel arrangement is giving me an aneurysm, but he's not bad either. Now, we only have a couple of characters left. This is actually not a large range, but it kind of deceptively looks large. Next up, we have Emily. Now, I would say the proportions are whack, but honestly, this is based on the take-along model, and the take-along Emily is a model. So this is actually alright. If you actually want a really good die-cast version of Emily, weirdly, I'd say go to the Erdl of the AEG, because honestly, everything in between, not great. Not to say these are die-cast, of course, these are not. Emily just looks, disinterested in the whole project, to be honest, and that's fair. Also, some of them have smokebox detail. They really were based on the take-along. See, it's weird, they're not based on take-along molds. They're based on take-along... Kinda? I don't understand. Next up we have... always laugh at fucking Mavis. What the fuck did they do to her face? Like, seriously, it's like they pushed it in or something. It's really weird. It's very smushed. Detail is okay. I was gonna say, detail's okay. No, it's not. What the fuck happened to this side skirt? They managed to misprint fuck. You know what probably happened? They stamped this side. We're like, alright, just flip it. And that's not right. So it's a factory error. Although, frankly, this is the factory error. And for engines, we finish off with Diesel. Yeah, Diesel looks okay. Something about that full red running board isn't doing it for me, though. He does actually have a pretty decent face, though. And again, same running thing for all these engines, which means that you have Diesel, who's relatively small, with this running system, and then you have, like, Gordon, who has so much fucking void, it's hilarious. Alright, let's move on to some other things. I changed shot. This is going to be very jumpy. I'm going to try and avoid that in future videos. We'll look at road vehicles next. Not road vehicles, sorry. Oh yeah, sure, we'll look at road vehicles next. There are only two. Bulgy and Birdie. Birdie actually doesn't look half bad. He probably would look good next to some wooden railway models. His scale is alright, you know. You know what, Birdie gets a pass. Although, to be fair, the pass in this range may as well be top marks, because I ain't giving anything else a pass. Bulgy's not too bad either. Honestly, again, these would look probably decent next to wooden railway toys. Definitely, probably actually worth picking these two up at least. Everything else is garbage, but these two work. Speaking of garbage, we have Annie and Clarabelle. But why? These characters cannot connect to each other. The functionality of rolling stock is basically, nil. So why the fuck did you make them? They're about the same quality as everything else. So pretty much garbage. That leaves us with the one final piece of rolling stock. Now, can I ask the obvious question? Why is he so damn small? Also, why is this inexplicably based on the wooden railway model? You have all these sort of weird wheels, and then you just suddenly have this wooden railway release with a face that's clearly too small, and with like the magnets. Like, I don't understand this fucking range. Yeah, it exists. Okay, now we're on to air characters. Same deal with Bertie and Bulgy. He gets a pass. He doesn't look terrible. He would fit in with wooden railway scale very well. Although he's looking a bit sad. He can't get it. He can't get the blades up. You know, it's just depressing. It's not a phase, Mum. This is what tired me looks like. Which leaves us with two more. Yeah, my Cranky's broken, but does it really matter? The Cranky's a bit... He's seen some shit, man. Yeah, look, it's not the best. But that's pretty much Scrub's whole range. And then finally, I think... Yeah, this is part of his range. He doesn't have his feet. Did he ever come with feet? Oh, quick fact-checking session. Okay, I couldn't figure out if he has feet, but Tangentially Thomas apparently has a commercial for this. Huh. Right. Anyway, this guy apparently is actually rather rare. He was only released as part of the bonus packs. He's still garbage, though. Alright, let's get these a bit more organized, and let's do final thoughts. I guess the question becomes, should you buy these? Well, first the question should be, where can I buy these? There's a very simple answer to that. Hell. Oh, okay, a bit more of a serious answer is nowhere. No one will sell these to you. And that's not because that we don't necessarily want to sell them, it's just they're worth nothing. Like, seriously, I don't list these on eBay because they're hot garbage. These items, when new back in 2007, cost $2 Australian each. Their current market value is $0. I'm not even being facetious here. It's $0. The thing is, they really haven't stood this test of time, and it's unfortunate. Do I think they deserve to be remembered? No. Do I think they will be remembered? For all the wrong reasons. See, these characters, for all intents and purposes, are, after all, landfill. And they probably deserve that moniker more than anything else. I do not hold these in very high regard. They were made cheaply, to be mass-produced, obviously, and sold as a gimmick. I don't really like gimmicks. So no, I don't think they deserve to be remembered. I don't even think they really deserve to be collected. I'll hold on to the full range. In case anyone wants pictures, I guess. And if anyone really wants them, I will ship them to you. For free. I am never going to charge any money for these, because frankly, I don't consider them worth a damn thing. This has been a very, very messy video, so let's at least clean the slate and I'll tell you what you should buy. In this video, I've at least been somewhat positive about 3 of the characters launched. Bertie, Harold, and Bulgy. Now, I will point out something about these characters, is that I do have a couple of different releases of each, except for Harold. If you were really going to get these for the recommended purpose that I said, which is for TWR, sort of like scale accuracy, I'll also show you one next to a TWR character. There you go. You can see that they're relatively good scale. They're not perfect, but they ain't bad. Then I would definitely recommend biding your time. Because they're all practically worthless, I would say probably just keep an eye out for ones in better condition, or with a more quality finish. Some of them do obviously look better than others, not only just because of age, but because they were made a little bit better. Take for instance this Bulgy. Look at the printing on the side, compare it to this Bulgy. This one's probably a little bit better, which compare it to this Bulgy, and like, basically what I'm saying is to be discerning. Try and get yourself the best example possible. Also note that, yeah, none of their wheels move. So just be aware of that if you're going to be doing some modelling. Harold is probably the best out of all of them. I really, really dig Harold. And that is actually the end of this video. What more is there really to say? These guys will now be going back into storage. If you have any questions about them, feel free to ask. There isn't really much to say, and I'll link tangentially Thomas's video in the description if I remember. Either way, thank you all for watching this honestly derailed video. If you liked it, leave a comment. If you didn't, leave a comment. I'm curious to see what people think about my more deranged styling here. And I will see you all in the next one.